Today I'm going to show you this cool trick you can do with the Splice tab in the new 12.3 update. At the time of posting this is going to be in beta, but if you're watching this in 2026, this will probably be in the latest version of Ableton. So I'm going to start out in the session view, and I want to get a bunch of melodic loops. So you can search anything here. This won't matter later, but we do want to filter for loops, and we're going to want to remove drums, remove effects. Sometimes bass is cool, but I also think I'm going to remove bass in this one. And we can clear the name search. Now, I want to make a song in a minor key, so I'm going to filter for loops that are in minor only. So at this point, it should bring up a bunch of melodic loops that are in a minor key. But we want all of these to be in the same key. You can click on any of these loops that come up, and you'll see this key section down here. You can click on that, and then click the key of your song, and it's going to transpose every loop to be in key. I'm just going to drag in a bunch of random loops, but this will sound best if you curate a bunch that will fit a certain vibe that you want to go for. And when you drag these in your project, they'll all be warped and they'll all be in the tempo that you choose. But once you feel like you have enough, you can select all of them and press Shift Tab. And then you're going to open this Launch tab. So this whole section defines how loops will play after each other. So if we turn on follow action, by default, it will play entire clips once and then move on to the next one. We're going to want it to be more random, so we're going to change them all to any. So now after the clips are done playing, it will switch to a random one in this sequence you have up here. But we kind of want this to be more like a fast switching ADHD vibe, so we can turn all of these to be unlinked. So this will define how long each clip will play for. This is defined in 16ths and it's on 1 bar by default, but we can change this to be a quarter note each. So say if we play this right now. Right now it's playing each loop for a quarter note each, but you'll notice that each time it switches, it will start from the beginning on each new loop. And we don't want it to do that. So if we turn all these to be legato, it will take over the play position. So it's like you're kind of hocketing which loop is playing, but it'll still keep the current point in time. So now if we play this. So by itself, it sounds kind of random. And there's a couple ways you can go about this. One option is to make a drum beat. So I'm just going to do like the most basic thing of all time. Fun fact, if you're trying to make a quick hat pattern and you have it sustained across the grid, you can do Command E and it'll split that up. I also want to do a quick roll at the end so I can hold Command E and then drag up with my mouse and then do a quick velocity ramp. So it's like... So this kind of makes it make a little bit more sense, but you can kind of hear some clicks and pops. So if you press the record button, it'll record all of this to arrangement view. You totally could go about making a song this way, but it's going to be really random. It'll probably take a bunch of attempts. But if you were making a song this way, you could highlight all of these and do Command Option F, so they will fade between each other, so you won't have any clicks or pops. And something else you can do to make them kind of blend into each other more is get an echo. And I like to turn on this ducking. So this will duck the wet signal to the dry signal, basically like a built-in sidechain. So you'll still have a bunch of echo going on, but your dry signal will come on top. Then do a quick Command B to bounce all of these. So now we have a full clip. So I'm going to go ahead and get a Granulator 3, and I'm going to drag this entire bounce into it. So I kind of want this to be like an atmospheric blanket to tie all of these sounds together more. So I'm going to switch this to cloud mode, and this just basically has a bunch of grains layered against each other at once. And what makes this cool is if you turn up the variation, you can have it where each grain is a slightly different position and a different grain size, and also a different transposition, so you can kind of have like a cool chorus effect. Might just get like a hybrid reverb, bring the filter frequency down a little bit. I might even transpose an octave. I'm going to hold Shift and then up on my keyboard. I might actually just get an auto filter and have an LFO with a slight phase offset, so it'll kind of be a different filter frequency on the right and left ears. And then if you have your plus and automation arm on, you can just go ahead and record yourself moving this around. and after you finish recording, you'll save your position automation. I can also go over this automation again and kind of do some filter stuff. You also get like a volume macro on a utility and a regular LFO on binary. Set that to quarter notes or eighth notes or something. Then have that automate the volume. So it'll be like a sometimes mute. And then you could smooth it out just a little bit so it's not so clicky and poppy. Maybe eighth notes. And you can just solidify that by doing Command B. If you wanted to go really crazy with this kind of technique, I'm gonna go ahead and record like a really long recording for resampling real quick. Might even change it to eighth notes. Could maybe be cool to switch the warp modes. Oh, 16ths is neat. Texture is basically like audio granulator. Now I want to do the same thing as earlier in Command Option F. I'm going to Command J, consolidate this into one file. And to make this kind of more playable, I'm going to slice this to a new MIDI track. I'm going to use one of my slicing presets, which you can get in my instrument pack. I'm going to turn off preserve warp timing so we can do some cool pseudo granular stuff. And what's different about Slice-to-MIDI compared to just using regular simpler is that you can basically have these kind of granular loops in a way. So you can change the start point and change the length. Then maybe I can use some of these bits from earlier as fills. Okay, kind of random ass beat, but I think this shows there's a lot you can do just by collaging a bunch of sounds and then granulating them and kind of making these loops into your own in some way. That's all I have for this video, but if you fuck with what I do, get all my packs and stuff. It helps me make more videos and tools when you support, and expect more cool stuff coming soon.